Hello again. I've noticed an acceptance over the last couple of years, both in academic journals such as Military Strategy magazine and also off the cuff comments on internet sites, the inevitability of civil wars in Europe and possibly also in the United States. There is something chilling about this, that people feel free to speculate about such a thing, and also that so few people contradict their forebodings. In the description to this video I give a link to one such article published 18 months ago, which is entitled "Civil War Comes to the West." Some experts in military history, the author of this piece is Professor of War Studies at King's College London, believe that these wars are not merely on the horizon, but have in a sense already begun. Sweden is often cited as an example of what is happening in Scandinavia and likely to be seen in more European countries. The bombings and shootings in Sweden have reached an appalling level. More people die by shooting in Sweden than anywhere else in Europe other than Albania. Bombings, too, are almost a daily occurrence. When we saw such a state of affairs in Northern Ireland in the 1970s, it was recognised as a low-level civil war or guerrilla war, with the British Army actively engaged in fighting against the irregular forces of the Irish nationalists. In Sweden, the fighting is treated as being more of a criminal activity rather than guerrilla warfare. Increasingly, though, the police refer to child soldiers. These are teenagers recruited by different factions, some Kurdish, others Albanian, carry out assassinations. Contract hits are advertised on the internet in coded language, offering youngsters up to £1 million, about £78,000, kill people. They are supplied with the weapons to do so as well, often Kalashnikov assault rifles. We're seeing similar kinds of things in Britain, only with knives rather than guns as a rule. The truth is, our societies in Western Europe are fracturing, with the fault lines often running along national, ethnic and religious lines. Caribbean, Muslim, Kurdish, Hindu and so on. That's why we saw the street fighting in Leicester a couple of years ago between Muslims and Hindus. The truth is, which all ordinary people know of course, that many people in this country owe their first allegiance not to the country in which they were born. That's not their core identity. We see people born in London who claim to be Irish and are more interested in Ireland than they are in England. The same thing happens with Siletis and Pakistanis and also with, say, Jamaicans. I've met teenagers who were born in England to parents who were also born here, and yet they describe themselves as Jamaican or Pakistani. The situation is getting worse by the day, with no common purpose or even code of living from day to day for most people. The English were long famed for their desire to queue up, and the social disapproval of anybody who tried to push in was very strong. It's all gone now. Trust has more or less evaporated, and that was a valuable social glue which held communities together. You could in general rely upon people to be truthful and reasonably honest. Of course there were always thieves and liars, but they tended to be outliers. Now the trust between neighbours has gone, as well as the trust between citizens and the police, between fellow employees at the same place of work. This is fertile ground for the emergence of civil disorder and the feeling that we must stick to our own for protection, rather than depending either upon the civil authorities or even people living next door. Many of us now tend to follow our own traditions, the traditions of a group, rather than having a common set of values with the rest of society. All this sets the stage for the slow-motion disintegration of a unified society, a nation at peace with itself. Unless we liven our ideas up a bit and take stock of what's happening, then we're liable to find ourselves a year or two down the line with the makings of a genuine civil war, with armed groups opposing each other. This may sound like scaremongering, but I don't think it is. I can see some very disturbing signs and parallels with other seemingly stable countries which have collapsed into anarchy and disorder.